week, Brett Favre was honored in Green Bay and inducted into their Hall of Fame. And the only thing that's left is for him to get a gold jacket and be invited to Canton, which that should be on her horizon soon. Great stories, personal stories, in my experience playing against Brett Favre. I'm not saying that I'm that old, but just the fact of I kind of got Brett Favre in the middle of his career as he was starting to wind down. Still a sensational player, but take a listen to what he had to say at his induction ceremony and at Lambeau Field.
I have to admit, I'm a little bit embarrassed that all this is for me. I really am. I love to play football. I loved it. I dreamed of playing football. I dreamed of playing in the Super Bowl. I never dreamed of standing here before you in a moment like this. So this is way beyond what I dreamed of, and I am so honored. The greatest coach in the history of the NFL has a trophy named after him. He's from here. Some of the greatest players in NFL history, if not the greatest players, are Green Bay. And to be alongside Bart Starr, Don Hudson, Reggie White, Willie Wood, Willie Davis, Jerry Kramer, the list goes on and on. Nitschke. These guys they're icons. And I'm truly honored and blessed to be not only before you tonight, but to be here forever.
Yeah, that is Brett Favre, who was inducted into the Green Bay Packers Hall of Fame earlier this week at Lambeau. Everyone, the who's who in the sports industry was there. A former teammate of mine, Houston Texans teammate of mine, Amon Green, who played a couple of years with Green Bay Packers, and Brett Favre, he was there. Steve Mariucci, he was there. So it was great for the Packers and great for the NFL football. And I think the wild thing was people don't understand. When you come in the game, no matter how you come into the game, at some point there has to be an exit. Are you prepared for that exit? Most players are not, because you end up going out one of two ways. Either because your body has been broken down and just can't do it anymore, or the team that brought you in decides it's time to make a change. Either you're making too much money or you're too long in the tooth, and now it's time to move on and bring in some new blood. And there was some bad blood for a while with Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers. We all know about the Packers' situation with Brett Favre being there and them drafting Aaron Rodgers in the first round. And everyone thought it was crazy. And even at the time, I thought it was crazy, the fact that you draft the guy in the first round in Aaron Rodgers when you already have a guy who's already there who's going to be a Hall of Famer in Brett Favre. But the Packers were ahead of the curve. There's a reason why you see the same teams competing in the playoffs, in the Super Bowls, year in and year out. It's football. It's not rocket science. You know, you have the Patriots are always there. The Packers are there. The Giants are there. I mean, there's a reason these teams are there every year. The Steelers, they're there. There's something that they're doing within the organization that is right. But at some point, no matter who you are, Johnny Unitas, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Brett Favre, the list goes on and on. At some point, Father Time's going to come knocking, or the team is going to move past you. And it just seemed like it was bad on the surface, what was happening with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, the relationship. And Brett Favre went on record saying, listen, I was hired to win games for the Packers, not to help a guy who's been brought in to replace me. There's a lot of guys in the NFL that definitely feel that way. But like I was saying, at some point it's going to happen. And sometimes as a fan and as a former player, it is sad when you see some of the players you grew up watching this happen too. And we all know what happened with Joe Montana when he was with the 49ers. He helped them to a couple of Super Bowls. The next thing you know, we had to watch him play out his career as a member of the Kansas City Chiefs. So it happens at some point, but I'm glad they were able to put their differences aside because, Coach Lombardi personifies Green Bay football. Brett Favre does the same thing. I mean, until they traded for him from the Atlanta Falcons, it was kind of like a downward spiral for the Green Bay Packers. That one player changed the direction and how we view the Packers football up until this point. And it just kind of made it easy for a guy like Aaron Rodgers to kind of step in. It gave him some pressure, don't get me wrong, but it made it easy for a guy like Aaron Rodgers to kind of step in to a fold where you had this great fan base. And, there's always an argument about what fans are the best. If you had to, do your top five, where would Green Bay actually fit in that? For me, they are, if not, the best fans. And I know a couple fans and a couple teams I played for would probably be upset with me. But when you look at that Green Bay, what it means to football itself, NFL and AFL, that whole rivalry, how we got to the NFC, AFC, they were the basic building blocks for me that the NFL was built on. So there's a lot of storylines, a lot of heritage in that organization, but those fans are diehard. Anytime as a fan, when it gets cold in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I know Chicago is cold. I know Buffalo is cold, but Green Bay is cold. When you see fans out there on the sign of a minus 16 with the wind chill factor, and they have on no shirts, that's dedication. That is dedication, and those Green Bay Packers fans are definitely dedicated. So, Brett Favre, what more can I say about it? I mean, a great honor. Only thing left, like I said, is for him to don that gold jacket, that gold yellow jacket for Canton, Ohio. Really quickly, a couple stories about Brett Favre and my experience. It's Monday Night Football. Brett Favre, I mean, they're loaded. I mean, the Green Bay Packers are just loaded offensively. And it was one of those games where you had to bring your A game. It's Monday Night Football, and you're playing against the Green Bay Packers and Brett Favre. So they were moving the ball up and down the field. We did our part on defense and offense to kind of hold them. Our offense was a little stagnant and really couldn't get things going. So great plays that were made to force the game into overtime. Jay Cutler helped push the ball into the end zone, and we pushed it into overtime. Now, ensuing kickoff, we kick the ball off. The crowd is charged up. We have the momentum. Andre Hall, running back, stopped the returner inside the 20. And for those who are avid football fans, you understand how important, when you look at field position, especially overtime, stopping an opponent, in their 20, within their 20. So that now put Green Bay on a long field to work with. So the defense, we come out, and this is the first play from scrimmage in overtime. And, I was kind of rotating down in the box, and this was a game that John Lynch didn't play because he was injured. So we had some other reserve safeties in the game at the time. And as I'm rotating down to make an attempt to blitz from depth, I just see Brett Favre just cock his arm back, look one direction, and just sling the ball. It was almost like David shooting that rock and hitting Goliath in the forehead with the rock. You guys all know that story. But he threw the ball so deep, so far, and all I did was look, and I saw the ball trajectory in the air, and I knew it was a touchdown. It was 6 right away. I didn't even bother to give chase. I just started walking towards the sideline. I know it sounds bad, but at that point, I knew all they needed was a touchdown and the game was over. That just kind of goes into the folklore of Brett Favre, into who he is and what he's done, and like clutch. People talk about, Eli Manning being clutch. Brett Favre was clutch. Peyton Manning was clutch. But that was a great play by Brett Favre, and it was definitely sensational. I remember because we were on the bad end of that, but also the fact that, I was kind of, a part of history, a part of Brett Favre history. So I'm happy and blessed to say that I had an opportunity to play against one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.